Morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving, some nice time off the charts, and are relaxed and comfortable, feeling good back on the charts. We've got 1 month left to close out this year strong. We've had a great year, and let's just make sure we stick to the same rules as always, close this week out and close this year out really strong. All right. Let's have a look at the charts then, because I haven't been here for a little bit of time since being off with COVID. As you can see, last week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Friday, I should say, just a low volume drift up. You can see it down here at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you can see all that, all right? Very low volume drift higher, all right? One thing to be aware about. There were no bears coming in, but there was, in fact, no one joining in at all really last week, which is why you had decent range. And we've taken out some of the pivots, filling in some of this imbalance. And this was the area that we've been getting stuck in, right? Over the 500s is the key level. You will see last night is the first time we tapped into over those 500s into the 61 or golden zone fib. And, well, there were some sellers waiting up there passively, quite clearly. On top of that, you had the JPY bonds breaking out, which I've talked extensively about on here. I'm really looking for that trade to come, if it's going to come to fruition over the next 2 weeks. So, but definitely, as it was breaking out last night, you saw a little bit of fear enter the tape, and off the low volume pulling back. Where are we pulling back to? Well, you can see this cluster here. All right, this is very interesting. Here you have the 5-day, 20-day, and 50-day. All at exactly the same point, and guess what? We bottomed off it. All right, so this is a very interesting area to watch as an over-under as this week develops. I don't want to be too aggressive on a Monday after a low-volume week. There's nothing to say they don't shove it all the way down here. There's nothing to say that they don't find a bid to take it higher. All right, so we just have to wait and see. What we can say is there were no bears there last week, but I'd say this week I'd be looking for dips to hold either where we've held or sort of down into these 975s. All right, if we come down into here and we can produce a daily high low, because we haven't done that yet because we haven't pulled back. If it is a big if we can do that, I'd consider a bullish rotation up to current high of week. And if we really get going all the way back up here, remember we've got relative strength in the SPY or the ES versus this, because we've been rotating into some more defensive sectors which are playing catch up. So the breadth is actually getting a little bit bigger, which can be positive for the market. If this market just wants to keep slamming down, then, you know, this is just nothing more than a wave up to be slammed back down. But this is what I'm saying. We're going to have to be somewhat cautious this week. So I'm watching these areas here, and I'm watching those 500s. All right, let's get into the hourlies. We can see a bit more in detail. It was actually a very nice trade just set up then while I was talking, unfortunately, but there we go. Okay, so in the hourlies down here, this is previous week's profile. All right, you can see we're currently, and we just now rejected previous week value area high. All right, so I'd be watching this developed profile as well, but basically 300s, you can see we created some liquidity here at 300. This would be on Friday last week, I guess, before breaking out. Failing, this is the big supply zone. Coming back under, we just failed to reclaim this level here. This is a level of interest. This is probably your over under this morning. All right, we can draw it in something like this. All right, all the time we're under it, potentially fade back down into this rotation into the 200s. If we let go of 200s, you can see we get very, very thin on the previous week profile. All right, make sure you can see this. Yeah. All right, so we're currently rejecting this. How we act here is going to be key. Is there going to be a look below and fail, or are we going to come under, look below, stay heavy, and complete a rotation down into this sort of 930? And from there, I'll be potentially looking for longs, but again, it would need to put in some structure to come back up. I'm less interested in longs all the way down here this week, but would not surprise me. But if we're going to do some kind of break and come down here, that's very heavy momentum. Yes, bulls stepped in there last week, but really you'd want this or this to hold for bullish structure to come back up. All right, I wouldn't really want it to see it visit previous week value area low if I was a bull, which I'm not really, but we will see. I'm happy to join in on the bullish side. as we set up. All right, so those are your levels. Make sure you're taking note of all these previous week and previous day levels. They will become key, especially as we start getting through this session. But you can see the volume that we created last week. That's what I'm watching as my over-unders this morning. And let's get into the lower time frame and start looking at everything else. You can see really this is your rotation. All right, this is based on the previous week's profile. Here's your rotation. All right, so look above and fail, look below and fail, look above and hold. Look below and hold. All right, look above and fail. Look below and fail. Those are the moves. And in here, you've got a 250-point rotation. All right, you're pinned in here. Fade the tops, fade the bottoms, fade the tops, fade the bottoms until it proves otherwise. All right, that's what you're seeing at the moment. But we are gapping down off that JPY bond trade. All right, that's why. See all sorts of traders talking about why crypto's gapping down. That's why. That's where the pressure came from. It's not from some news article or something like that. It's genuine sell pressure. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other indexes a second. Yes, all right, remember we had relative strength here. It's to 5 minute. Same kind of story. You can see we're finding some bid support off here for now. But that's most certainly a failed look above again. So 860s, no acceptance above. Previous day high. Previous day close, that was a big wash. You've had one bounce, two bounce. Here's now your range. All right, so very, very similar. So your range you're looking at, you might as well just call it 30 down to 800. So 30-point range here. All right, look below and fail, look above and fail. Those are probably going to be the easy trades. Otherwise, if we stay heavy, you know, you've got liquidity to aim for. 88s. That probably needs developing a bit. Hang on, let's clean this up a little bit. Yeah, you're way too big, my friend. Right, that's what I'll be looking at ES, and we can put a block in up here as well. 900s. It's the same thing, exactly the same thing. Let's have a quick look at the spiders. Very, very clean on the spiders. Big gap down. I'll be watching to see how we act at this level here on the spiders. If we're going to stay heavy, think about how much you squeezed last week without really putting in much structure. All right, this was Friday last week, but as we came into Monday, there's that first dip and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. And if we're going to see a failure to reclaim, we're probably at least going to come to here. All right, so that's what I'd be watching. And if they fail there, we'll come deeper. Okay, but once we come to here, it's possible that we continue this trend. If they let go, maybe down here, it's still possible that they continue the trend up. But some of this needs to be washed out. That's a strong buying channel of no volume like we've talked about. Q's exactly the same like we talked about. You can see they're back testing that RBS zone. Let's have a quick look at the Dixie. Oof. And crushed a little bit there. Is gold popping them? Yeah, that's a nice recovery on gold. VIX back into these teens. VIX is due a bid. All right, it is due a bid just because once we come up to these 30s and we just go straight down, this is not really normal. Normally you'd see like a retest like that. So maybe today we might get something like that. Doesn't have to be the whole way up, but I'd be watching VIX for a hold of 17s. It's down. Yeah, I'd be watching. Yeah, 1740, 1750s, a hold of that. A break over 1875 is where we're going to see strength come in. Make sure these are all correct. We can move this up a bit. But starting to see that sort of turnaround on the VIX, at least for now. At least for now, but I have to see if it can hold, pull back into 1740s. All right, let's have a look at the MAG. Range here at the highs in Apple. Looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Obviously, there's a gap down. There's a gap down in the whole market, but we're just in a range here on Apple, nothing else. All right, seeing as a bit of a safe haven in the Mag 7 at the moment because it doesn't have too much exposure to AI. All right, so where they've lacked the growth this year, it also means they lack the exposure. So just some consolidation at the highs at the moment. Amazon, pretty much flat, slight gap down. that's looking strong. Let me just zoom out. All right, Amazon's got to get back above this level here, 38. All right, that's where the real strength will come in. All right, it needs to get back above this and prove itself if it wants to move higher. Otherwise, this is just a retracement which can be sold back into. So I'd be very cautious about where you're trading Amazon. I don't think it's opening up in a particularly great area right now based on higher time frame. Possible sell from here to retest 28s to 25s probably. All right, Goog. Consolidating at highs, yes, lower highs and lower lows, but we all know what this can be. All right, if it wants to keep going, that's all-time highs, is it for Goog? I just want to double check. Yes, it is. All right, so it's got some backfill if it really wants to come back into the 300s. Have we looked back there since we broke out? And when did we break out? Monday last week. Same story, hasn't looked back. So we would consider a backfill here. Yeah, we'd absolutely consider a backfill here on Goog. So again, I wouldn't be putting risk on that right now. It's done the move. Let's see if it can backfill and offer a better setup. But a slight gap down on Goog. Meta, oof, that's a nastier gap down. All right. You can see up here, it's left balls trapped at highs. Already faded underneath that next pivot, and it's getting stuck at it. So if Meta keeps failing 640, there's probably a deeper wash. I am long on this. I think it's from 580 something. I'm small size. I bought it all the way down here. Yeah, 580 something. Only small size. Just got a feeler on it, guys. So about $60 up on that, which is nice. Same story here on Microsoft. All right, trapping bulls at these highs right now. Coming back down into a level where it can find consolidation. Remember, tops can take time to develop, right? This can take time to build out this week if it is going to need a deeper wash. They don't all have to do it at the sound of the bell on a Monday morning. It can take time for some of this to develop. Nvidia, that doesn't look too good. That does not look too good. Let me zoom out. All right, everyone looking for that Nvidia recovery. Jensen trying to hold everything up, but we keep failing reattempts here. So where was last week? Monday. Yeah. I'm not too convinced on Nvidia right now. That is getting sold into on every push still. Yes, it's basing out a little bit, but it's probably quite a long way down. Let me just zoom out here. Give us a second. Yeah, you want to be careful there. You want to be careful. There's your top, and every attempt to get back into that range is being sold into so far. If we start losing 64s, we can come and backfill some of this. All right, so every time we've come down into 60s, 70s and 60s, it's found a bid so far. But the fact that we're not reclaiming 95s is saying a lot right now. It's attempted 1, 2, 3 times. Doesn't look too great to me. Tesla, just trying to build out liquidity here, isn't it? Very simple. Trying to build out liquidity back up here to go and break these highs. All right, that's what it's looking to do. Is that an old gap? Has it filled it? Yep, filled an old gap. Consolidation looks okay. Definitely a failed attempt on Friday. So maybe pull back into 420, which has been the level for as long as I can remember now, as your over under. Let's have a look at Oracle, just to give me an idea of the broader names. AMD. Big gap down on AMD. Still holding range there. It's tricky out there, folks. It's definitely tricky. I think for me, I just want to let this develop. This morning, you've got the levels in here. Like we said, that previous week value area high was probably a short while I was talking, and there you go. So it's rejecting value from last week so far. So we're inside previous week's value, rejecting the highs from last week. We are outside previous day's value, so we might see some further weakness to start the day, but we will have to just see how we act because we're in these ranges from the previous sessions. All right, right here. And I kind of just want to let it open and make its decision, let's say. And we can decide what's next. Oh, I've forgotten my water. Good morning. Not going to get a chance to go through all the good mornings. Market's now open. Let's just see what we get here. So all of the mag gapping down here this morning. Give this a minute or two to get through the opening print, and then we'll go from there. Get these same lines drawn on Ninja before I forget. So not able to get back towards that previous week value area high yet on the morning drive, failing short of it. Not able to get up to previous day low, not able to get up to the view ups yet. Let me get an anchor on my screen as well. Big buyers coming in there and getting sold into as well. That's strong selling. So 85. Not taking out that pivot yet into the 300s. Strong selling, like I just said. That's very strong selling. Big buyers came in at the highs and they just got absolutely sold into very, very hard. Here's the New York Open all the way back down then. And this range is pretty decent. So volatility is still present right now. Holding that New York low so far. Big selling here. Oof. Big wash. Underneath that New York low. And are they going to take out these pivots and come back down and visit here? It's a shame. I would have liked to have been short up here. Just wanted to give it a minute or two to redevelop. Seeing as I've not really stared at the screens for at least a week now. But you're underneath that New York Open so far. So 50s basically. That was your open. Shove up this morning. Got sold into trap buyers at the highs. And let's see if they resell these into 50s here. Or if they're going to squeeze this back out. Amazon's found a bid. Everything else looking weak so far this morning. Tesla 1% down, Nvidia 1.65% down, Microsoft 1.1% down, Meta 1% down, Google 0.75% down, Apple 0.25% down. Amazon has found a bid 0.25% up. Everything else looking pretty weak right now. So let's just let this develop. So reclaiming that New York Open. Maybe they go and test back to where we just came from again. What is this? Is an old view up? No, that's previous day low then, is it? Okay, I need to get my bearings because I've not been here for a little bit. There we go. So the New York Open, reclaiming it. Maybe comes and revisits this. I want to see how we act up here. Previous week value area high and maybe all the way up into 350s. That's where. So I didn't want to get short this first move this morning. All right, retesting these levels again. These 300-ish. And if they get over 3, let's just call it 350, that'll be either the look above and fail, or it will be a squeeze and breakout above here. So just waiting to see how we operate down there. Or up there, I should say. Just rotation so far this morning. Just seeing edges play both sides. Didn't quite make it to the blue box. Didn't quite make it to the red box yet. Delta positive so far this morning, other than that pullback candle. A little bit stuck up here. Amazon's still going. Good, great bid on Amazon. Now 0.2% up. not the rest of the market is not joining in yet. Tesla's trying to get back, so that's trying to find a bid as well, which is helping the mag out. Same story on Nvidia, but none of them have gone red to green yet. It won't take too much. They are attempting it. There's no doubt about it. Messy here. This is where that big buyer came in at 85-ish and got stuck. Let's see if they hold him and allow him to drift this up higher into the 300s to 350s. Somewhat messy here this morning, isn't it? Just inside the old range. Not getting above previous week's value area high. Tempting to hold that pivot on a 30-minute, but not convinced yet. No, I am not convinced. Tesla having a good go here. It's trying to get back red to green. Can they get back up into sort of Globex? Would be the question, I guess. Struggling at least 300 so far. No acceptance above 300 so far. Back down towards VWAP we go. Reattempting 300s here. Tesla now red to green. Tesla's gone red to green, folks. Not a lot else happening. Previous week value area high, and then through that, can they have an attempt at 350 will be the attempt if they can get there. There's the attempt to get sort of somewhat up into it. Into the red box at Globex level ahead, or above, I should say, sorry. Amazon looking good. Tesla now red to green. Rest of the market still not there. Trying to lift it. They're trying to get it up to those levels. Not there yet. Still holding above 300s. See what this market wants to do. Very slow here this morning. So 300s you're over under right now. I'm watching these 300s to see if we're going to see weakness come in here. Back down towards these VWAPs now. Yeah, I'm watching this red box to see if I want to fade it. Sorry, someone asking what am I doing? I mean, it's a Monday morning after a very low volume drive higher. We're in a range. I'm waiting to see if we take one side of liquidity first to see if there's weakness come in. So if we come up here and I see strong failures, or I see buyers get trapped at the highs, which we did just see into 22s, but I really, I'm interested to see if we can take out these 40s. Then I'll be looking for that fade, all right? So if you were here for the pre-market show, what did we talk about? Look above and fail, look below and fail. Look above and fail, look below and fail for that turn in. Those are my sort of first thoughts at the moment. We didn't quite get up to where I wanted, and you're starting to see them slam that door a little bit early. So maybe the sign was there this morning, the same kind of thing, but here you go. So that's why I said 300's your over under. Your previous week value area high, we've just gone back above it, failed, come back below, back to the New York Open. You can see all we're doing here is building out a range. We're not getting above previous week value area high. We've not come back below the New York Open, right? This is the range. If they keep selling this, we're going to rotate into here. So there might be a short coming soon, but just think about what we've done. This is all we've done this morning, all right? There's no real trades in there for me. There's not that much edge. I want to fade up here to the blue box. But once we came here, I really just wanted them to take that out. I've probably just missed a trigger there, to be honest, that downside. Probably missed a trigger there. That's okay. Yeah, 10 o'clock. 9:45 and 10 o'clock, isn't it? I put it in Discord this morning. Let's have a look. Yes, PMI 9:45 and 10 o'clock, and then PAL tonight at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. There's your weakness. I probably just missed that while I was talking. That was it. All right, there's the grind up. That's the look into supply. There's the failure. There's the fail to reclaim previous week value, and back down we go to blue box. I probably just missed. It's a good trade, actually. It's about 60 points in that. Oh, but Matt, why are we playing these games and not catching up again? So yeah, just in balance right now, I would say. If you zoom out, you will see that. We will get further moves if we get sustained auctions underneath the blue box for a rotation back down, or sustained auctions above here, all right, for a move back up towards those 500s. But right now, we're just trading between red box and blue box. That's all you've got right now. That's all that's available. How am I feeling? Not too bad. I'm very weak still, but pretty much better, but just not full of energy yet. A little bit of COVID left, I guess, but just the weakness, nothing else. Other than that, I feel all right. So just trading around that New York Open. Shoulda, woulda, coulda on the fade for that, but look, all the flow zones flat. New York flat, New York VWAP flat. We're in 95 points of range so far, not too bad. Back down towards this blue box, so red box to blue box, like we talked about pre-market. I'd say the best move was this. We should have faded this. All right, let that come in. That's the only time today we've had decent RR for this move down into here. They might very well bid back off this and reclaim this and go back that side if they want. Tesla back red again and selling harder now. So 0.75% down. So that went red to green and they shut the door on it. So worth noting that Amazon pulling back now as well. We've got a couple minutes left to news. Here's low of day, expanding low of day now. And if they want to come down into 190s, they will. That's your Globex low. Come on, put that. So 200s here. Like we said, 190s would be that Globex low. Oh, I'm kicking myself for not taking that trade. They keep rejecting New York Open without taking Globex, and I think you will probably get down into it. So we missed Globex high, failed the rotation for Globex high, buyers got stuck up there, coming for Globex low, which is the orange line on your screen. So if the next push fails the New York Open, the blue line, then I would imagine they would go for Globex low. But yeah, you've got news coming out here in 50 seconds. Just be aware. We did leave some delta stuck above 315s, so there are buyers stuck up there. And again, they tried to join in 260s to 280s and got sold into. And I'd say there are sellers stuck at the lows right now into 214s. So just that rotation, that rotational market, very, very present this morning. Probably a lot of people like me just waiting to see how we develop this week before we go risk on. especially after a thin volume week. Yeah, if you just zoom out, remember the high time frame, why we're looking at this. We just think about what we did in the previous week, right? You got a node here and a node here, and here's the low vol, and we're just trading between these until we get a look below and fail, or a look above and fail, or a look below and a wash, or a look above and a squeeze. Then we're just going to keep building liquidity in this sort of 150 odd point range, right? That's all we're doing right now, is creating liquidity. Back to test this New York Open. So if they fail this, there is potentially a trade down to here, but we've got this news, should be dropping right now, so who knows. See if we can get that up. Came in pretty much in line. 52.2 versus 51.9. That's pretty much in line for the manufacturing. Squeeze all the way back up now. Probably come and test this wick high here at 85. Like we said, the buyers did try 65 to 80s. If we get through 80s, potentially squeeze back up towards the higher day as we just go from one side to the other side, neither side completing a rotation. So no rejection off VWAP, off New York Open, straight back into no man's land right now. There's nothing I'm seeing here that's making me want to pull the trigger yet. There's probably one B setup I've seen today, and that's it. Nvidia now red to green. Give you a readout in the market. Tesla now 0.81% down, Nvidia 0.5% up, Microsoft 1% down, Meta 1.33% down, Google 1.5% down, Amazon 0.5% up, Amazon just under 1%, and Apple just under 1% down. Market needs to make up its mind. It's going to take some time here by the looks of it. Sorry, I keep smashing that mic. Back up to that previous week value area high. And are they going to squeeze through this back to higher day? I'm not too interested in this right now. Edge to edge without taking any liquidity. So if they want to complete this rotation, they should come up to 350s. Same as here. They didn't complete the rotation to 190s. They got stuck. Just liquidity building phase right now. Can this market find a bid? There we go. New higher day then. All right. Can it complete rotation now into here? 350. If it takes out 350 and squeezes, we'll watch previous day value area low to see if we reject that from Friday. I'm not going to give it too much credit given that there was bugger all volume traded, but I will respect it. So there's your higher day. Still not taking Globex out. I'd like us to take that sort of London pivot high out from Globex at 240, 250 and then see how we react. If they fall short again, the same trade as earlier, but it's not looking very nice. Just rotation here from one side to the other. You can see the box. It's all we're doing. We're trading box to box. All right, well, while this market faffs around, I'm going to grab my bottle of water from next door. I'll be right back. They should try and complete a rotation here. Can't say I'm surprised about the action this morning. This was always likely to be the case. Can they get up here? They're trying to hold previous week value area high to come and clean out Globex 44s and then previous day value area high. And you have another 10 minutes until the next news piece. Come on, Bookmap, what are you doing? $25,230 previous week value area high. Oh, really? 330, do you mean? 25,000. 230. Oh, you have it lower. Well, I don't know. I've got it. It is where it is for me. I'm not going to change it. But yeah, there is always discrepancies between the two for sure. Just stupid, really, when it's based off volume traded off a centralized exchange like the CME. There should never be a difference, but there we go. All right, they should complete this rotation now and take out this 44s here, basically the 50s, and then I'll be watching to see if they fade these levels from Friday. Cumulative delta, yeah, you can use it. I don't really use it too much. It's good for trending environments, but I'm not too interested outside of that. I'm more interested in delta getting stuck in between each candles, but you can use it. Sometimes it will give you divergence, like if we're making higher highs here and delta isn't, which is what I am seeing on a 5-minute chart for now. Shows a bit of weakness in the tape. Unbelievable that they still have not taken out Globex. Come on, people. They're going to wait for 10, aren't they? At the moment, wait for that new hourly and 4-hour bar. If we find a squeeze above Globex, then I'll be looking at 76s, 400s, and what's the top level up here? And 40s. If you get a squeeze, if there's acceptance above here, you'd be looking for a drive into these. If they want to close the gap fill will be 480s. It's quite a big ask, but it's not out of the question. And we can still sell that based on an hourly. Possible that bears still come in versus 440s. So anything possible right now in this market. So quite an intricate part. TPT code is flow zone. The links are down below. Flow zone for TPT, not FCT. So if you use code flow zone, it will get you 30% off right now. Come on, market. You got to go and take Globex out. We can't do anything otherwise. VIX coming into these 1740s like we talked about. Let's see if it finds a bid here on the VIX or not. If not, and it goes for gap fill, this market can start squeezing. Like we said, the red box is key. Look above some fail, or base above for a squeeze. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's code flow zone. It won't change it. I might ask for the 5,000,000th time this week. Okay, Globex coming up. So if you did take the long, hopefully it gets there for you. If you got long off VWAP off this high or low, okay, your location's not ideal, but if you took this, you're looking for this and a squeeze out into here. So if you get this, that would be TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, TP5 would be gap fill if you got all the way up there, which would be the yellow line above you all the way up here. I'd be very cautious as we get into here that it doesn't do a look above and fail. Still not taking it out. Incredible. actually going to wait for the new 4-hour candle. 5 minutes left. Surely they just take that out now. Would I recommend Lucid? Yeah. Their new one looks good, Lucid Flex. I did actually buy one to test it out. Very much like Funded Next. Code FCT will work there for you as well. Okay, Globex now taken. All right, so if you're in this long, you're just runners for these squeeze out. So these blue and red lines and yellow line is your ultimate target if it really wanted to get going. If we base above here, we can think about that long, but I've been very, very cautious about something that shoves up, all right, and then fails back in this range here. So basically 320s. All right, bulls need to defend 320s. Anything that's a look above, fails under 320, rejects it, it's going to come right back down to the other side again. Why is energy pumping? Well, energy always pumps this type of year anyway. So you've got rotations. Plus, what's energy going to be used for? Think about all the data centers, everything we're doing with AI, it all is going to require energy. It's probably a bit of a safer bet than a lot of other stuff right now, because it's a guarantee that the grid is not ready and they are going to require a lot of energy, whether that be traditional types, nuclear based, especially for all these data centers that they're building out. They're all going to require energy. So if you don't want to put money in the builder, don't want to put money in the chips, then you can put money in the energy sector. And plus, as it gets colder into winter, we use more energy anyway, which means historically Q4 and Q1 are better times to buy energy, to trade energy. Okay, VIX still failing. 1722s now. Needs to find a bid here. If it doesn't, gap fill is possible all the way down to 1650s and below. Okay, into or testing previous day value area lows. This is Friday's value area. All right, so far, this is Friday's value area. If we reject this and we reject 320s, we will move lower. Bulls will need to hold 320 now. There or thereabouts. They will want to hold 320s. They're advertising above right now. There's a spoofer on the tape today, folks. There is a spoofer on the tape again. They're walking this up right now. Can we get acceptance into the previous day's value? At the moment, the answer is no. There's no acceptance inside Friday's value area. Dips this morning have been bought, but we didn't take out Globex, but there was a higher low there. Dips have been bought. We are now drifting higher. I would expect bears to come in soon, somewhere in here, if they don't already. And then we have to see how we act, because that will then be the battle. Wherever the bears coming down to 320 will be the battle. So they're going to test these 320s, it seems. Or some pull back towards it. How long for? 90 seconds. So I'm just going to let this hour and 4 hour play out. And that kill candle that we had at 8 p.m. last night, all right, the transition of that will be that previous day value area high. So I am interested what happens when we come up here. Range still good. Even with the VIX dropping down, the range is still good. 170 points so far in the first 30 minutes this morning. It's not bad at all. Still money to be made both sides here. All right, they are trying to hold these sort of 320s, 340s. Does Fridays hold much weight after being a half day? I think it was a whole day, but it was very, very light in volume. I mean, I'd say none of last week holds as much weight as normal because the volume was so light, which is why there's some caution trading this morning. Everyone's just waiting to see how we test out each levels and, you know, do we cut through like a hot knife through butter, or do we find bids? All right, so here's the push on that news. Previous day, no acceptance inside previous day's value yet. No acceptance inside previous day's value yet. And remember, I think shorts will come in somewhere here if they're going to come in at all. If they're going to come in, that's where they're going to look to come in. Oh, the range isn't bad, but it feels slow. Tape feels slow today. Tape definitely feels slow today, at least in my mind it does. Tesla's trying to go back red to green again. Nvidia is and is holding. We are stuck at previous day value area low. We're not finding acceptance inside of previous day's value, inside of Friday's value so far. No acceptance inside of Friday's value so far. We are holding bids now above this, so technically this might want to hold. I actually want to redraw that because I think 320 would be the level, 340 to 320. Let's just draw it back on. This here is going to be key over under. Is there offers above 450? There is, and 400 there is. Bit of a battle here at these highs. Let's get some volume on. We've been here for long enough now. Not you. Yeah, you can see this volume being created up here. Definite battle up here. Here's the sell back down to these 40s to 20s. Now, if they fail this, you can see the edge. Like, they've got thin volume node here. Buyers will want to protect this. If we fail this, we just go back into balance, which will be very ugly and choppy. Haven't really extended enough. Oh, Garbo. Yeah, I literally just put it on now. I was just waiting for it to develop a bit for the first 30 minutes. So still holding that low volume node. Bull's still in control intraday, but like I said, I think if bears are going to come in, it will be somewhere up here. There, so far, there's no acceptance into Friday's value. Tape feels very slow. Very, very slow tape this morning. Everyone waiting for Jerome Powell tonight at 8 o'clock, maybe. Definitely trapped some buyers above 67s for now. Yeah, let's just call it 70s. I'd say 70s is key. Some buyers got caught up there, buying the market at the highs, not seeing follow through since then. Just seen that rotation sort of back test that 40 to 20 level we've talked about. Still can't get even back up to 70s. These buyers are not getting their way so far that got caught up there. selling coming in here. This is the key level, this blue box. If we go under that, we're going to go back into this sort of bell-shaped profile down here. Not ideal, just standard distribution. We didn't take out the lows, though. It's just worth being aware of. So here's the flush back down towards the 20s, low side of this box. It's a low volume node. Buyers will want to defend this low volume node. Failing to do that, failing to hold the edge, will cause problems for them. POC shifted up high now. Buyers really need to reclaim 70. If they can't reclaim 70, they will get caught at those highs, but probably got a little bit of unfinished business. Not seeing any violent moves, really. Just feels a little bit slow this morning. And they're going to retest these 70s here. Getting sold into again in front of 70s. It's twice now. And again, not getting their way through 70s. Buyers trying again here. And Nvidia's starting to go now, 1% up. 70s is the level though. Buyers are stuck above 70s for now. They will need to get back above 70s, these buyers, to get a bigger move here. Failing 70s in front of 70s again. Definitely a passive seller up there every time we've got up there, and buyers are stuck above it. If they reclaim it, they can be squeezed potential higher, but that's just what I'm watching or observing so far. Not much else to do. Lots of volume being built out here. We've been here a while now. What's this range? 30 to 50 odd points, not bad. Tesla now flat, gone red to green. Nvidia 1% up, Amazon 0.5% up. Can the rest of the market join in? Still not getting through that 70s. Previous date value area low. They're attempting now. They are really, really trying to shove this up now. What a battle. Wow, big buyer came in there. Someone keeps coming in trying to force it up. He's not getting his way. He is not getting his way. He's being met at 70s every time. Passive seller up there at 70s. Someone's going to lose here soon. This can't last too much longer. Rotating in 50-point range. Very, very tight. Over and over and over and over and over again. Are they going to get all the way up the gap fill? You just wonder. The volume doesn't feel very big today. Feels like an extension of the holiday right now. Just a slow drift. Still at these 70s. Literally nothing happening. Come on, market. All right, they're rejecting 70s again. Back down towards these 40s to 20s again. If they lose these, we'll start flushing. If they hold these, we're just developing a new range up here again for rotations. There's a bid here at 50. Let's see if he actually holds or they get sliced through. They just bid off 50 again in front of it. They front ran it. VIX trying to find a bid. 1720s. Needs to reclaim 1740s really. Come on, market, just do something. We can't trade in this tiny little range forever. And back to these 50s. Do they flush these 50s? If they do, they'll be looking at the 20s again. We're just literally doing nothing here. No one wants to trade, it seems, today. No one's interested in trading. This is so slow. The tape's literally like, it's so slow without any meaningful moves in it. Normally when I see this, you think drift higher. It just feels like last week. Feels just like an extension of holiday. Nothing's changed right now. POC now up here. Back to the 70s. So we're trading 50s to 70s now. A whole 20 points. I mean, what are you going to do with that? Back to the 50s again. Back to POC again. Oh my gosh, so slow. Honestly, I'm getting ready to leave. If we're going to do this for much longer, I will leave. I'm not going to watch us barcode like this, guys. We need to move outside of this, and we need to do it soon for me to be even think about staying here longer, because this feels like this market's just gone to sleep at this point. It's just stopped. It's completely stopped doing anything. Jesus Christ. What am I watching? Come on. Do something. Fucking hell, mate. Really? Did I get up for this? Are you kidding me? Come on. Don't care what you do, just do something. All right, starting to break out. Thank goodness for that. Starting to do something. All right, let's watch, see how we act. Previous day point in control, previous day value area high. All still in control here. We've developed a new area here. Here's your consolidation. All right, here's your edge. Did just clear out the highs there. Not too many buyers got stuck up there. A few, but not really many. Back down towards the 50s again. Is there going to be follow through this sign? Down towards the 20s. Do we snap 20s? At the moment, nothing's happening. There we go. 30s. Is there any continuation through your 20s, or are we just going to stop short and go 50s all the way back up again? Someone's bidding 50s over and over and over again. All right, there we go. There's the 20s, or 40s, I should say. Can we go 20s? No. So still bidding this low volume range right now. If we leave this, though, and see follow through, then we'll probably come back down into here. Yeah, thanks, Adam. Great to see that. I was very happy with that. 10K subs. Still protecting this low volume node so far. Volume now created up here. Still no trade. Not in the New York session anyway. I did take a trade last night, folks. So wasn't the biggest, but I did trade last night. They're trying to get to these 20s at the moment. They want to test these 20s out. They're into this low volume node. They want to just do a little flush at the moment is what they're trying. But really how we act in here is going to be key now. 60 now, I'd say 60 to 70. We check the delta. Where are buyers trapped above? Yeah, above 70. 70 is still the level. Buyers are trapped over 70s, have been all morning. Every push over there. $50s again. Do they come in to retest these 70s? This is where the sellers came in. They're going to come back up towards these 70s and test it again, back inside this volume node. Now, sellers will want to reject this. If they don't reject in front of 70s, then buyers can take control and we can just start creating volume inside of yesterday's profile. So this is the chance. If they're going to defend, they need to defend now. Otherwise, they're going to get themselves caught. Back towards the 70s we go. Algo's still digesting excess from food from Friday. Yes, probably. Traders too sluggish this morning for sure. We're just not leaving an area. You know, it's big move up, tapped into blue, didn't wash Asia, straight up, and then just sideways. Just is what it is. Like I said, I didn't expect much today. I expect the moves to come back end of the week. Today we'll just be feeling out each edge. And if we want to come all the way up for previous day value area high, we can. That will fill the H1 imbalance. We very might well sell from that point. But we're into sort of thin structure as we get up and over here. Anything above, yeah, 350s. Anything above 350s gets much thinner from Friday's profile and from the weekly profile. God, this is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Do me a favor, smash that like button. We will do some giveaways this week. I will get some more Apex codes for you all. Yeah, just building liquidity. Just building liquidity. I'm somewhat surprised we didn't wash this first, but I mean, to come that close and not take it. Buggers, did we do it on ES? I guess one thing I didn't look at. Did we do it on ES? We did not. We tapped it, but we didn't actually wash below. That's nasty. Still stuck at these 70s. Oh, man. This is going to drag on. This day is going to be very, very slow. If this is all we're going to do, folks. It's going to be very, very slow. Thank you. Got vanilla. Oh, don't even get me started. What a joke. What a joke. I'm so pissed off with Zach Brown. It's unbelievable. F1 was an absolute joke. Never seen such complete stupid decisions or lack of. Like, I've never seen it. Complete incompetence. Like I said on my socials, you know, it's like they're trying to get jobs at Ferrari. That's how bad they were at the weekend. I cannot believe it. Every decision was terrible. You didn't bring them in. You left them both out. Fucking stupid. So stupid to do that. Number one. Number two, once you realise you made the wrong decision, you didn't rectify it. You left them out far too long on both stints, especially the second stint. And then you put them on the fucking hards. Like, put them on the softs. So dumb. So dumb. And after they screwed Lando's race last weekend, well, both of their races, but Lando's the one that suffered. You know, if he doesn't win, then they can only blame you. You got to take his head, Zach Brown. You got to take his head. Like, it's on you, mate. It's on you. Ultimately, the buck stops with you. Okay, here you go. So failing 70s again, they're going to come back down to test these 20s like we talked about. So no acceptance over 70s. That's the key thing up here. Now, we haven't built a whole lot of profile down here, a whole lot of volume. So, you know, I'll be watching to see if they hold these 20s for a rescoop and go, or if there's sustained follow through. I saw someone say Max Verstappen. I mean, yeah, Max, he's doing pretty good in a terrible car. But, you know, that was not about him. McLaren have literally gifted him the chance to have the chance to win. McLaren have gifted it to him. Terrible. What did you all think? That's what I thought. Arsenal didn't look at the races yesterday against Chelsea either. Thought we were sluggish, but not surprising given the amount of games that we played and big games that we played recently as well. Missing our centre backs didn't help. Oh, market. Yeah, probably would have. It probably would have been over a long time ago, in fairness to him, because also he wouldn't listen to bad decisions. He would do what he wants because he's got the experience and confidence to do it. Tesla back, green to reds. This market literally does not know what to do with itself. We're just dancing around volume. We're not seeing follow through under 20s. We're not seeing follow through over 70s. It is stuck. You're completely stuck right now. Big buyer coming in here. Just absolutely slapped it. Do we actually move up off that though? Big buy came in right where we are now, and we've not moved higher. Worth noting for now. He will need to accumulate here at 40 or around there because he came in with size, hit the market, and we haven't moved higher. Maybe we come back down to VWAP just to punish him for doing that. I don't know. God, I don't remember it being this slow for a while. Starting to see these lower highs form. Maybe they come back down to VWAP now. I don't have a whole lot of confidence with how we've moved this morning. I'm going to be honest with you. Not seeing follow through, just seeing little ranges to be created. If we start leaving this range violently from above, then we're going to see some downside action, but we're not doing that yet. VIX has found a bid at those 1720s to 1740s, though. Just like that, we're at VWAP. Well, that happened quick. All right, did they bid off this, or are we going to see downside pressure now? That buyer who marketed in, he got himself caught there. He came in at 40s. So bidding off VWAP. Buyer came in at 40, so I'm watching that level. That's his pain point. That's where he came in. Are they going to reclaim this range that we've created up here? Or are they going to reject it and actually rotate all the way back down to lower day? Amazon just gone green to red, or at least green to flat. All right, Amazon's gone green to flat at least. Now it's gone red. So Nvidia now the only mag green. Everything else has gone into a sell, or at least closed its gap. Back towards these 40s where that participant got stuck. Sorry, folks, not a whole lot to do here. If we reject this volume above, maybe, just maybe, there's a rotation. But if you look at VWAP and everything, everything's flat right now. But if we reject this above, right, if we reject this, maybe there's a rotation. You need to get through TP1, TP2, TP3, and then maybe we get that. Otherwise, they can just fill this in, do a dance like this for ages, create a new volume node here, and they can do this for a bit. This for a bit. I don't really want to trade if we've got no appetite to do a bigger move. I'm not really too interested. No, I mean I can, Jack. There's not a lot happening here either, Jack, really. Double bottom this morning, drive up, trap buys at the highs above 840, sell back down. That's it. Not a lot happening. The markets are pretty quiet. Back to VWAP again. We are starting to see that 840 become a key level here, where that buyer got stuck. But I would say sellers just came in here and didn't get their way. 3 lots of stops just got popped on that last wash. It's just like it's just remember it's end of or the first day of the new month after a holiday week on low volume. Everyone's just feeling out what they want to do. Like I wouldn't really want to be a long-term buyer here, but you know, if we are going to build out enough liquidity, you can argue for that buy. Right, if they can build this, I'd feel much more comfortable. If we're going to complete a Santa Claus rally, I'd want to see a wash and a go. And that's why I think you're building this out. It's going to, if it offers one of these later in the week, it might be good. But you have to be careful that they don't just roll it. Yeah, it's just, these are really the legs. All right, so it's just a question of can it hold over that or not. We're kind of in no man's land. That's kind of the whole problem at the moment, where we're opening up. I mean, the obvious sell straight out the newsletter was here, wasn't it? These levels haven't changed. These are out the newsletter. That was the sell. There's your look into supply, fail, back under previous day closed. There's your sell. That happened last night. All right, so 500 failed last night. That's the level you want to be selling at. Now we're sort of 50-50 between the two. Totally. Nice, Troy. Yeah, I didn't see it until we'd absolutely dumped a load already. So I caught a small amount of it, up about 450 bucks per account. That's all I caught with micros. We know that there's a buyer stuck at 40s right now. That's one thing I would say. It's just so slow to do anything. Like, sellers have the chance here to take control of this session versus 50s and really start dumping it, and you're not seeing like the aggression from them. Like, maybe it comes, but at the moment we're not seeing it. Starting to see some stronger selling there. They're trying into this 300. There's a bid at 300. I'd say all the time now it stays heavy versus that grey box above. You know, potential shorts back down, but kind of a midpoint of the range on the session. It's kind of ugly. Look how we've developed current profile. Like, what's that, 90 odd points or something? 80 odd points. The way it's left it is so slow, and they might just bid back up and test this. It's just not a great looking kind of thing. Think about this. VWAPs, flow zones, deep pullback, previous week value area high, previous day value area low, New York, everything's fairly condensed here. We haven't left it and trapped enough for me. Like this, I like these when we're violent, when we, you know, aggressive, leave a nice wick, trap lots of buyers, give me something to fade for that move back down. We're just not seeing that. This just feels very controlled both ways at the moment. The tape just feels slow. Like if we look at Bookmap, it's not like an aggressive tape. I can show you. That can change. It's just very slow. Like look how controlled this is, both sides. Very controlled. Like we saw some sellers get stuck down here. Where's the guy at 40? Was this him? I feel like it was before that. Maybe it was here. Yeah, 47. So this is the buyers that got stuck here. But like we flushed down and we instantly reclaimed, and we're still going sideways at those same kind of levels, slowly walking it down. But I don't like this down here. This looks like an end of auction down here. It's just not A plus, folks. It's just not A plus here. It's just a range. It's a see money, take money kind of day. Did any of you get anything good in Black Friday? I did buy this chair. I'm very happy with this chair. Very comfortable. I think it was like, I don't know, 100 bucks off or something. Maybe a bit more. Move down to point of control. What? POC's up here, mate. You got some monitors. Nice. Here's a 300 test. Now starting to see more aggression from these sellers. Now might complete this move now if they can get going. I said it's possible they want to come back down a lower day because we have unfinished business down there. But they've taken so long that they put me off taking it. This value area low of the session so far. Doesn't mean we can't expand it. That's just where we're trading at so far. Starting to see some aggression here. Probably going to try and complete towards here. It's where buyers came in earlier, towards 50s, this New York Open. Has he just taken out that low? Not yet. coming to his New York Open as well. I don't know what they want to do, Troy. It doesn't seem like they're going to have the power to do that right now. All we've done really is wash the London level and turn back inside. So we're coming back down to test this lower band now. I just hate how we formed that there. So slow. This was probably the sell here. But the tape was so slow at that point. That's not bad. If any of you took that, it's pretty decent. Even the flow zones. Pretty decent. So let's see if they squeeze this back up and then resell it. And this is where we found a bid this morning. So they've almost done the rotation already. They're not going to make this easy. They're not going to make this easy. Back towards the 300. I would say that sort of 350 becomes key again. 320 and 350. So buyers who didn't get filled in the mornings shove up. They just got filled there in this imbalance right here. Yeah, those 340s, 350s look big over-unders right now. Straight up then. This is fun. All right, let's see what happens when we get up here. There's good power in this move. This is back to that level again, this sort of 340, 350. Not too far away from it. What do we hit there? 32s. Back to the view up again. Are they going to go up to 40s and 50s and test it? And if they get through that, they're going to test the 70s. And if they get through that, they can start squeezing. Yeah, I just don't think it's very pretty out here. If you chase the short, you got hurt. If you bought above 70 today, you got hurt. That's kind of the story. There's nothing else really going on. All they did was fill that old imbalance. That was it. Are they going to come all the way back down now? Mate. Just feels a bit thin, the book. A little bit thin. Sorry, folks. So this imbalance from here got filled. We found a bid. We pull back. We're going to try and do this now. That's what he's trying to do. I don't love. Look where we're trading. It's just there's no edge here at the moment. I'm happy sitting still, honestly, especially on first day of the month on a Monday and like recovering from COVID. I'm happy sitting still. What strategy do I use? Well, it depends on the setup. People get so focused on that. It all depends on the setup. But basically, I look to find participants who are offside where I can trade ideally in a pro-trend direction, which I don't think we're in at all right now. I think the market needs to make up its mind. So if we're going to be pro-trend bullish, we need to set a daily high low, which we haven't done yet. Could be that today does that. And then we'll look for that kind of trade upside. If we are going to fail, then I'm looking for fail breakouts. So all I'm ever looking for is trap traders for rotations from one level to the next to go and search for liquidity. So create liquidity, search for liquidity. Today is a creation of liquidity day by the looks of it, which is why I'm kind of sat here waiting. So here's the move back to 40s and then 50s. Squeeze will happen above 70s. If they let the bulls out above 70s, that's where a squeeze can happen. Nvidia has caught a bid here. None of the rest of the market still caught a bid. So this is the shelf where we failed from. All right, this is the volume where we failed from. If we get back through this shelf, all right, then this will be a look below that fails, and we can use this liquidity at this point to go higher. Very, very nasty how they've done that. It's very, very quick. Number 70 is the level that buyers will stuck above. There's the look back to POC. So I'd say buyers now will want to hold 20s. This shelf here, buyers will not want it below that. They will want to do this to complete the rotation. If sellers start getting their way, they can still complete. We still have unfinished business down here. We did not take out Globex lows on any market yet. This is just ranging. This is why the flow zones are kind of stuck here. Everything's, look at the middle point of your screen right now. Both VWAPs, both flow zones. Underneath that, PDL and your lower time frame algo and your previous week value area low, value very high. ES finding a bid off its New York Open. We're just literally in no man's land. I think this is also an old gap on the SPY, not just the new gap. We're actually trading into an old gap again as well. Yeah, Nvidia higher day right now. I reckon that 180 is probably quite a big level on Nvidia, probably on the options, which we've just traded into. I reckon it's a big old level. What have we got above that? 80.27, liquidity at 81s, and 81.75. Hey, that's ugly on Nvidia. London Asia Suite. Well, it depends on your timings, but I wouldn't consider it because that I don't like that. What was that? 0030 low. And we haven't done it. Have we done it in? We haven't done it in New York hours to the downside. This low down here. This low. We've protected this low twice. 1, 2 protection. We've left lots of liquidity down here now, if you think about this. And this. I'm not convinced by that. In a range, leaving liquidity like that, I'm not convinced by it. Okay, here's the test of these 20s like we just talked about. Bulls will need to hold this. If they fail to hold this, there is more rotation downside possible. I'd say 20s down to 05s need to hold for bulls. Everything's flat though. Every single sort of indicator is flat on the screen right now. No trend developed. For me, this is just creation of liquidity. That's all we're doing right now. Best prop firm for beginners? Probably say go for something without trailing drawdown. Funded Next, pretty good. Probably the new Lucid accounts, pretty good. They're on sale right now. If you just want cheaper accounts, because it's your first time trying, you can look at Apex, but you just need to be aware of the rules and size down if you're going to trade with them. We're just totally stuck. Can't reclaim this grey box, right? This is where volume's stuck, and we're holding 20s. So the rotation now happening between here. Bulls take control above this. Bears can take potentially control below this. We do have excess down here. All right, sellers were caught down there. And buyers were caught on this high as well. So it's what I mean. We're just in a range rotation. You might be like, why is he sitting still? He's not calling anything today. There's just nothing I really am seeing that I'm like, yeah, this feels like a shift in momentum. This feels like someone wants to take control. I'm just not seeing that right now. Doesn't mean things can't develop for you, but right now what I'm seeing is not making me think there's a big move coming. Yep, Tradeify growth as well. I think I don't know if it's today or later this week, they're going to announce same day payouts as well. So Tradeify growth as well, another good account. One thing I'd say with funded next though, Fed at 8 o'clock, maybe Jay might be right, for Powell. See if he's particularly hawkish again, or if he's going to continue this dovish pit that we've had the last 2 weeks that I talked about in the newsletter. One thing I'd say about funded next, and maybe the new Lucid accounts, although I'd need to check, is they don't have consistency rules, whereas Tradeify does. One thing to be aware of. Always think not having consistency rules can be very, very useful. Shift in tape here. They're trying to sell this back down to the 20s. Do they get acceptance through it? And this is where they keep, or they will need to keep absorbing here the bulls. Just nothing. I'm watching the book. You remember, I'm also watching the tape and the book and trying to see if someone wants to take control. We're not seeing it. Not seeing it right now in the market. Like I said, I took that trade overnight, so I'm not too fussed either. It's okay. Probably a good day for me to do my course for the section on Bookmap, because it's moving so slow. It's very easy to explain what's happening. Yeah, nice. For Black Friday sale. Nice. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom here while it makes its mind up. So remember, 320s. Bulls are trying to hold the 320s. Acceptance over 360. I'd say 370 is the big one. But any acceptance over here, all right, bulls can maybe take control. Remember, every look so far this morning, every look above has been failed. But we have unfinished business if they want to rotate. And bulls have got to hold that 320 level. All right, if you hold that 320 level, they'll be looking to complete the rotation. I'll be back shortly. All right, it's trying. It's trying. If you're bullish, you held the 320s. There's your flag or inverse head and shoulders kind of look, and it's trying. All right, so we're going to try and squeeze now. Your targets are here, so higher day, previous day, POC 403, previous day value area high, and then up here. All right, so there's your higher low. There's the hold of 320 that we talked about. All right, and it's going to try and complete this squeeze now. So you got your TPs above. All those horizontal lines are your TPs if you took it. Do I like cricket? Yeah, I absolutely love cricket. Harish, I love cricket. Here you go. So TP1 coming up into high day. Don't be a dick for a tick. Take some here and then look for that squeeze out for your next level. So 405s, 436s, gap fill here, 482 if you get lucky. There's your TP1. Now just hold on and see if they can squeeze it for you. If you took that long from 320 or if you joined for this flag, all the time bulls held this, like we talked about, that's possible. They're going to use this liquidity now to fire this up. Right, but you must not be joining late. You should be joining here and selling into these drives because we're still in rotation. You don't know that they don't do a look above and fail here. So just move your stop up with it. Take profits on the way. Favorite cricket player? What, current? Probably Stokesy. Given that I'm English, probably Stokes. But growing up, I used to love Jacques Callis. Used to love watching him play. Obviously, from the England teams like Freddie and KP and guys like that. Yeah, obviously watching the Ashes, but there hasn't been much to watch, has there? Because England have been so pathetically shite in that first test that it was all done in 2 days. Crazy. Current, I did watch the last test with India. I like your fast bowler with the weird action. Trying to remember his name. Can't remember. Alex, is the 20-hour course still on Black Friday sale? If not, could you please walk through everything it includes? I don't think. I think the sale will have finished now. Let me check. I think it will have finished. I can extend a Cyber Monday for you if you want. Let me have a little look. All right, make sure you're locking in some profits here. You just hit TP2, so your last one, well, you got two more. Previous day value area high, and then there's a yellow line above you, which will be gap fill, right? So this is TP3, TP4. Do not get long up here. Do not start a new money long up here. You're asking for it if you do that. You're absolutely asking for it. It's still active until tonight. So code BF on all products. All right, so it's still active until midnight tonight. So anything on my website, code BF will get you 25% off. It's the last day though. This would be the last sale. Prices will be going up next year, folks. Okay, a big seller came in there and he's not getting his way. I would like to see this continue to squeeze up for you at this point. But you have to observe initial balance rules. You've got value area high here now at 77. All the time we're holding that. Potential squeeze, potential for higher. Burma, that's it. I love watching him. I love how aggressive he is. I think he's really fun to watch. I haven't watched. I will be able to watch it this year, but I haven't watched the IPL the last few years because I just haven't been able to get it here in America. Plus, the timing for me is a bit of a nightmare. Should you enter long if it comes back to point of control? What current point of control down here? It really depends how it acts when it gets there. All right. Is it a good level? Yes. These are levels of interest. But, you know, if you're just going to enter long there, what's to say it doesn't wash down? So what you want to see, you don't want too many buyers caught here. And ideally, you want something like this to long off if you're going to look for a continuation. But just remember, low-hanging fruit, TP1, TP2, two low-hanging fruit have been taken. These are the only things left now. Market isn't particularly, gosh, can he talk? The market is not particular. It's not that strong today. I'll give you a readout on the mag. Tesla 0.14% down. Microsoft 0.71% down. Meta about 1% down. Google 0.5% down. Apple 0.25% down. The thing driving this is Nvidia, which is 1.5% up, but it did just fail that look into the 180s I talked about. I would imagine that's a big options level there. We have an old POC at sort of 180.60, 180.50. So I'd be watching that. So we've just filled, well, almost filled the gap there on Nvidia. So I'd be very aware of that. Once Nvidia fails, if Nvidia fails, then you might see a bit of air come out of this market. So far, it's just hold on to your runners and how far can it go, all right? But you know, you don't want to be buying up here. You know that this can easily be collapsed on. How they lack of liquidity built here. This is just a squeeze. This is shorts trying to guess the top right now, and they're probably likely to get hurt. And when it's done, it will wash them out, and then how we act becomes important. VIX failed that 1720, 1740 is now back sub 17. It has potential for a gap fill down to the low 16s here. Can't rule it out. It's somewhat unusual how VIX is acting, not so much today, but more how we acted last week. To move from 30s back down to the teens without a pop on a VIX is quite unusual. We'll want to wash these guys at some point. Previous day point of control here now. Book's starting to dry up a bit here. Not liking what I'm seeing on Bookmap. The volume feels very, very low. A good few years, I would say, Harish, but I moved around quite a lot. So I started on swings, and then I moved from swings to small caps. Then I moved back from small caps to large caps, and from large caps eventually to futures. There's a battle here going on now at these 420s. Where is Nvidia? Is it at that 180? It's underneath that 180. They're trying to sell this. They're attempting to. I'm not convinced they're going to have the juice to wash all these guys out yet. I don't think we've squeezed out enough, but we will see in good time, won't we? There's previous day point of control holding up for now. There are definitely buyers caught over 415 on this last candle. But it just feels very, very, very slow today. So slow the way the tape's moving. It's insane. Back to the level these buyers just got caught at. Not convinced we finished the auction like I talked about. Not Not convinced it can't get up into this previous day level and maybe even a gap fill. You just don't know. Seen weirder things from these markets. I just feel like we're in holiday drift higher. That's all we feel like we're in right now. Just feels exactly the same as last week. Just like very slow move higher. I know we gapped down, but that's what it feels like. Yeah, I'm considering it. I'm looking at other options as well. Same as like Cheddar Flow and a few others, which is on sale today. I just need to do some research, make sure I'm going to spend that money for the room, make sure I get one which is actually producing good data and is useful. I only really want the ETFs. I don't really care about everything else. They're trying to squeeze this up. They are attempting to squeeze this up. Creating like a new range up here, just like we did earlier. Last look above failed again into those 420s. Just there's no downside follow through underneath point of control yet, so just a new range being created again here. Previous day point control holding up right now. We are starting to potentially develop a trend if it can hold pullbacks above initial balance, but you see now finally the flow zones have started opening up. But still, given the lack of volume we've had today, I'm still not convinced by anything I am seeing right now. I don't think it would take a lot to move this market in either direction. No, I think it was probably just technical problems, Roscoe. But who knows? We'll never find out anyway. That will never be released, because if it was true that it was manipulation, the amount of people who would go to jail would be insane. They'd all start snitching on each other. It was down for quite a while, wasn't it? So if you're still long from these down here, you should have taken partials into this and this. Your next level is previous day value area high and then previous day close, but make sure you've paid yourself, because it will not take much to wash this out. And I'd say stops here at 94s will probably get popped at some point. Here they come. They're probably going to come for these stops now, like we talked about. It won't take lots to move this market. Honestly, it's not trading with a lot of volume. All depends what they want to do, what their intentions are. They still haven't taken these stops out. Can't imagine that they defend these stops, honestly. I think we probably really take them. Here we come. So we're coming for these stops now, and then how we act here becomes important. Do they sweep and want to move higher, or are we just going to give back this whole low volume move? So same as we had here, this shelf here, we can draw a new one up here. It's exactly the same play. They're doing the same bullshit, and they might want to come back and back test this now. And if they don't, then this will be your support. They'll wick into here and try and reclaim to go higher. But remember, we are in a range rotation. I'd be very, very cautious about thinking longs up here. Your long trigger was down here for this move, and I'm not convinced about anything that I'm seeing on the tape. I don't think it would take much to move this. Like I said, one big player can come in and change everything. He can change absolutely everything very, very quickly. Did we make it there? Almost made it to the 80s. So if you want the short here, you will need to see it reject 400s, and you will really want this to start collapsing and rolling over. All right, but really, all the time we're holding this, we can complete more bullish moves. But obviously, if we come down here and get stuck, that's your IB rotation back to VWAP. We have just taken these stops now. All right, so if we reject this, I think we should move lower. See how it just does it in like one straight move. So you got those levels above for the reaction now. How we act into that grey box above becomes key. How we act into this grey box below becomes key. Hopefully it retests instead of just doing straight moves. But like I said, I don't trust the tape today. It's very, very low on volume. It does not take a lot to move this. Really does not take a lot to move it. Just left all this volume without retesting it to get short. Fuckers. Pardon my French. Okay, so box to box again. Box to box again. Ideally, they retest this and we see if that stays heavy, it's a fade back in. If they reclaim it, I'm not going to touch it, but it's a new squeeze out. Please retest. Come on. You can't just do this. Single direction moves. Come on. But yeah, Nvidia failed that 180 like I talked about. Please get up for a retest. Come on, market. They're trying to bid these lows at the moment. It's literally single direction back down to point control. Mother cluckers. Mother cluckers. Well, still unfinished business down here if they do want to let this go. You need a retest, though, so that you've got a nice price to fail. There's going to still be a pullback that holds. So I'd be interested how we act once we get up here. How we act when we get up there becomes important. Hourly still looks good. So filled part of that imbalance from 8 p.m. last night, like we talked about. This is the problem at the moment. This is what I mean. This is the problem. Here's your imbalance. Here's where we expect shorts to come in. Here's the structure that bulls will want to hold. This in here can build liquidity out. All right? Because bulls want to defend this. Shorts want to defend this. This is the rotation. This is the issue right now. It's not pro-trend because we haven't got everyone on this side and we don't have everyone on this side yet. It's developing liquidity in these areas. It might just be that we have to wait for tomorrow to get a pro-trend move. Very, very possible. Yeah, and under 80s, those buyers are stuck from that big imbalance candle. Definitely stuck there under 80s. Is there going to be follow through is the question. Yeah, it's just not pro trend yet on the H1. It's just going to need time to develop. And, you know, H1 can start bidding from 44 down to 14s. And, like, really, until we take out today's low, we don't see weakness. It's just one of those days. Like, we're not going to get pro trend every day. Like we talked about, shorts are likely to come in up here. That's what we're now starting to see up here. The problem is you would have had to grab that on the breakout trade. I don't think I'm fully engaged in this market yet either, like mentally. The way we're developing is kind of ugly here. Bit of a shelf here, so let's see. These are really the levels right now. Does scalping with copy trade? Does scalping work with copy trading? I've tried a couple times, but my followers seem to not pick it up. Yeah, it works. Maybe you've got a slow connection or not a good copy trader, but it definitely works. I trade on NinjaTrader, but it's just me personally. I use the Tradeify connection, but I trade on NinjaTrader. What a slow day. Failing to reclaim previous day value area low there. Bears will want to defend 80 to, let's call it 400, 80 to 95. If bears defend 80 to 95, there's possible rotation back down here. That's the level that bears want to defend, 80 to, well, basically here. Bears want to defend this for this move down here to come and clean out some of these liquidity. These would be the areas where buyers will want to step in, where the volume is. There's just nothing really going on here, folks. So possible short here if they fail this push up, and now bears will want to see a breakdown. So we're defending 80, and they'll want a new low, and they'll want to wash out the VWAPs here. And you know, if they get very, very heavy, you can't rule out low of day because I think there's lots of liquidity left down there. Amazon's not really doing much right now. The rest of the market's still red, other than Nvidia. Starting to try and see some aggression here. Are they going to get a breakdown to VWAP? Here we go. Into this grey box. If they fail this grey box, we've got VWAP here and the next grey box. So the next move will be into like the 30s down to 20s. These were the key levels earlier. If we can get down to 30s to 20s, that'll be a cover point. Here we go. Finally. And then hold some for low of day just in case. So it's 40s, watching this cover into 30s here. Just want one more flush here. And then hold one for low of day if I can. Just in case. Just in case. Here we go. Tag, 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 tag me, tag me, tag me, tag me. Okay, one out here. And just one left, and then we just let it ride now. So here's your next TP. These grey boxes. We talked about if we fail this into here and then holding one for low of day, just in case. I don't expect it to get there, but just in case. What's that tipping point there? 67s. I'm using Bookmap. You can see it above you. I'm also using footprints. Nice. I want to see us take out this next view up here. If we take this out, then I feel better about potentially getting down towards low of day. But right now, I've just got one left now. Don't want to see a rebid. Don't want to see this hold anything. Just want to see weakness come into the tape here and start washing. Nice, thank you. Come on, get this 20 out of the way, please. We've got an imbalance down into sort of 308, 309 that they can fill. Come on. I'll see him follow through there. Don't like that. No, taking this out. Can always add back in. That grey box holding, that shelf holding there. That's the reaction of it. Didn't like what I saw on the tape there. They had the chance to take over there. So still the same thing applies. Bears are in control all the time. They are protecting these levels up here. Right, all the time this is protected. This is possible. This shelf here, if this is protected, this is possible today. Not probable, it's possible. So any pop up here which gets sold into can allow this rotation. But I don't like what I saw down here. Right, we saw aggressive selling and it didn't move lower. There's a passive buyer trying to absorb this level here for now. So I cut the trade. I'm now flat on the trade. Starting to see them try and squeeze this back up at this point. There we go. So yeah, they had two attempts there. They tried to aggressive sell it at sort of the 30s, the 30 breaks, and then they tried again. They stepped in at the 20s and they got absorbed, which is why I cut it. There we go. So there's the squeeze back out. So they got absorbed right into this grey box. This is why these are points to cover. And then how we act up here will be key. All right, because if they reclaim all of this, this node here needs to be protected by the sellers. All right, definitely this volume up here. If this gets sliced through, then this is bullish again. All right, sellers will want to protect this to complete the rotation. I'm not convinced we get a full rotation today because it just doesn't feel like one of those days at the moment. It feels like see money, take money. Don't mind jumping back in if it sets up. I want to see it squeeze higher, not higher of day, but back up here at this point and see if there's a passive seller just sat there waiting. Then we'll see. So those 70s again, same as earlier today. Remember these 70s? There's a passive seller here. Eventually we got through it, squeezed out, and then they've sold back through it. It's the same kind of level. Maybe Jack. I'm just not like I don't have too much bias because we're trading inside range, right? Look at it daily. We're trading inside of the previous day's range. All right, so we look below it overnight, found a bid. We're trading inside of Friday's range now. So I'm not trying to carry too much bias right now. Because if they're going to put a daily high or low in this market, they've done it today. So any breakout above current day's high tomorrow, don't want to include it today, tomorrow and onwards, potential squeeze, right? Because then we put a daily high low in, then we go into a high and we can squeeze back out. So I'm not carrying too much bias on the Monday while we set up the liquidity for the rest of the week. Okay, so how we act up here now becomes key, like we talked about. So I want to see strong sellers come in and defend these levels. All right, if they don't do that, then obviously I'm not going to sell it back down because we can re-squeeze higher. Yeah, exactly, Coop. That's all we've got so far. But we're back inside of the initial balance. We're starting to like look into these areas. If sellers get met here, if we meet sellers here, then we're going to look for that rotation. Again, we've got a big node here, and this is now point of control, which is a pain that they've moved it down. It would have been nice to have put POC up here and move away from it. So we have to respect this here now. Right, this node here. If they sell into this and sell through this, then we can move lower. But really, it's just think about the structure. This is all we're doing right now. Right, how we act in here becomes key. You want this little squeeze up to be met with sellers. That's what you want to see if you're looking for downside action. And then you're going to have to respect the volume below you. I'm starting to see that move now. Starting to see it. Really nice. That move back into the 70s and 80s just got sold into for now. Still very early. Watching the tape here. Don't have a lot of conviction either way today. Definitely sellers up there. I'm not convinced we've swiped up enough to see how big they are yet. Is there any delta offside? Any big outlier prints? Not really seeing any. Yeah, no big outlier prints. They're reselling again here through the 70s. This 70s big level like we talked about. It was big this morning. It's big now. They're trying to be aggressive here to get this close lower. They want to force this down, these sellers. This is their chance. Their chance is now. If they can't do it, then you have to just understand. It means there's buyers on the tape saying, hey, we're not moving lower. We're going to move sideways. There's a buying balance from 50 to 40 here as well. If it wants to trade down there, it can. And let's see if there's a buyer down there or not. Yeah, I can see what you're looking at, Raf. I mean, it is the same area, but you know, it means that we're not. It's more like a quasi. We don't get a break until we trade under here, right? So I mean, there's nothing to say that this doesn't do this still as well, right? So we have to just observe, because if we're thinking about swings, this can still be a higher low, right? There's your low, higher low, until we get a breakdown under here. But if sellers are going to come in, this is the area that they're going to need to come in. This is the look above and fail, above initial balance, failing to reclaim. The hard thing is how much volume we've built out, right? Look how thick we are. If we get under this, we get thinner and there can be a bigger drop, and that will time out well with that. But until that point, I'd be see money, take money. These 70s again. Massive seller there, same level. Expect they chew him up into 80, 85. So slow, so slow. The range isn't bad, you know. We've probably had over 200 points, but it's just, it feels so slow on the tape. Maybe just me. Right, into that low volume node. Let's see what happens then. VIX trading at low of day, interestingly. Here's your initial balance. These are your key over-unders now for sentiment on the day. Sellers need to defend this level if they're actually going to look to complete a rotation. If they can't defend this level, you cannot rule out a squeeze for a gap fill. But this is the level sellers need to defend, here or hereabouts. So far, they're coming in and selling it. There's your right B being sold into so far. Still early. This is the area. Definitely caught buyers up there. Starting to see some selling here. They need to take control now because they've got the opportunity to do it. I'd say a good close under 60s would be good for sellers at this point. They've just sold really, really well up there. Caught the buyers up into that push into 90s. They need a strong close under 60s, and then you might see some more continuation. It's there for them if they want to do it. The opportunity is now here for them. Back to the 70s. Here you go. They're going to come for these 60s like we just talked about. Now, can they get a strong close underneath? They need a strong close under 60s. And really, if they can get under 50s, and then you might get a bit more of a violent wash. Not doing a very good job of it so far. My gosh, this is slow. Jeez Louise. Does anyone want to do anything today of any meaning? Have you got any intent to do something today, buyers or sellers? I don't really care which, but can we just do more than 20-point mini rotations for hours and hours and hours and end? Feels like the same market as we had maybe a month ago, where we do this nonsense for ages and then we go straight up, and then we do this nonsense for ages and then we go straight down. And this feels like this terrible market that we've had for a little while now. I would really like to see us move out of these horrible market conditions and into a pro-trend condition. I don't care if we move higher or lower, but these whole things where we go straight one way, sideways, straight the other way, sideways, they've got to stop, man. They're not fun to trade. They need to stop this. So maybe after the next few days, maybe we can move into something with a bit more smooth action, let's say, something which is a bit more technical based rather than just stupidity on low volume. I'm not going to trade low volume stupidity. Still rejecting initial balance there. Still, like, the amount of tiny size being offered on this market up and down and up and down is fucking stupid. There's no one in control here. It's actually pretty weird to look at on the book. It doesn't really matter to me what it looks like on 5 minutes. More about what's participating. Like, the actual volume in it is non-existent. We're just in no man's land. We're going to retest this. I don't really care about the candles at the moment. I care about how they're participating. What is this guy doing? Reoffer, reoffer, pull, 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 reoffer, reoffer, pull, pull, pull. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? This guy at 405 is being very odd. What are you doing? Back to test this high volume node above then. Buyers successfully defended. Bears doing a god-awful job for now. This guy at 405 is being real weird. Why would you keep spoofing such tiny size? What are you doing? Let's see. Sellers coming back in again. They've got their chance here. They have the chance to do it. If they're going to defend this is the first time I guess we've tested this high volume node. But the problem with how they're doing it, all right, because they're not being aggressive, we've now built out a ton of structure here. So really, what are they going to do? They're going to cover this and cover this. They need to get a crack for them to have anything of note today, and I just can't see that happening. Look how we built volume out. Look how thick this is up here now. It's going to take an awful lot to trade through it now for sellers. They really have to step on the gas here if they're going to do it. I'll be watching these 70s again. That's kind of your key over-under at this point today. I just can't see anything happening in this market today. I don't think anyone's here. Let me check the daily. Mainly sell volume and still very, very low. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Well, everyone talks about a Santa rally before Christmas, but reality is most times Santa rallies happen in January, to be honest. But this is not a normal year, though. Everyone keeps talking about, they're referencing previous years. Fucking show me a previous year which has traded straight upside since April of the amount of size and percent that we have. So I'm very inclined to be very cautious thinking about, oh, this is what we've done on previous years. All right. Well, this isn't previous years, is it? This is tariff year. So I don't know. All I know is hedge funds, I don't think, have made the money that they need to make. So it really depends what their intents are. Are the Fed going to pivot and probably do a cut next month? Probably, by the looks of it. Powell will be gone next year anyway. And then Republicans will take full control, and no doubt Trump will have a puppet in there and they just do cut. And it all depends if we're going to pump that cut. And also you need to watch the Japanese carry trade, because their bonds are breaking out. They're being forced to sell US indices right now. And that will cause a liquidity issue on the market. No, I do not swing options, really. Swing commons. Well, I would say bears right now have failed miserably. We can still move lower from here for a failed rotation, but there is no volume coming in here. They have not come in aggressively and slapped this down. I don't know what they are. I don't know. Probably algos, but I couldn't tell you with absolute certainty, because I'm not them. And anyone who says this is what it is a liar, because unless you're that person, you don't actually know. Okay, failing previous day point of control again, but this is just slowly just grinding all the way back up to where we just failed from. And if they want to complete the rotation today and fill this gap, they absolutely can. Bears will need to defend this. They really should have defended this low volume node. They didn't. I'd say buyers are in way more control here than bears in this market, and it just feels like a low volume grind. I would not be buying up here. Yeah. Jeez. Look at that. This is what I've been worried about the whole time. I think this is going to break out and cause issues in this market. I've said it. I've said it for months and months and months. This is the big issue and question mark for me. I think underneath the hood of this market, it does not look very good, but it's been that way for a long time, and doesn't mean it has to do anything. It's just like 08. 08 should have happened in 07 and 06. It didn't. Tops take an awful long time to develop in markets if there's going to be a top at all. It doesn't have to happen when people are calling for it. It can keep going and going and going. We might see another 2 years of squeeze out. And I'm not joking. I'm being deadly serious. We just got to trade what's in front of us. Bulls are in control here. Bulls are in control here, folks. These bears have done an awful job of defending any key level here. Awful. How long till lunch? I don't think anything's going to change. This is a slow drift, range rotating market. There's nothing to do in here. There's literally nothing to do in this market. I just got to wait for it to come to a level of actual interest. Let me have a look at the breadth. Yeah, energy is the only green sector. Some consumers aren't too bad, to be fair. Walmart again. We talked about that, didn't we? We see a rotation into cheap goods in preparation for recessionary pressure. Gold up, yeah. Okay, so tested that supply. That grey box probably comes for a rotation back down to this edge here. And for me, bears don't take control now until we move under 50. All right, so this is the edge that they're trying to defend. They've done a woeful job that if I was them, I wouldn't have let it get that high, but I'm not them. They're trying to defend this. If bulls step in here and hold 70s, they can complete a rotation higher. Yeah, big wick. But this is what we talked about on the hourly, isn't it? It's exactly what we talked about. We're not in a pro trend. So you're seeing that big wick on the hourly, but all the time we were under 440, we're in a range. We're just in a range. It is so slow on the tape. There you go. So they just supported in front. They didn't even get there. Bears didn't even get the rotation to 770. Bulls still defending. Just held at IB. They just held at IB. I'm not trading this. There's just no way, folks, off this tiny, tiny walk up, walk down volume, I'm participating in this. I'd rather let Monday close out, see where we close. This is just an inside bar after drifting into Wednesday's session, and that was done overnight. We haven't come and retested any of that. There's just nothing to do here. We've looked above and we've looked below Friday and failed both sides. That says everything you need to say. Market doesn't know what it wants to do. It's just going to build liquidity. That's it. There's nothing more to say about this right now. I certainly have no intent in pushing anything. A couple scalps and that was it, or one singular scalp, actually, I should say. I can't really see it. Like, we're moving up. What the fuck are we moving up on? This market's doing nothing in the mag. Absolutely stuck. But we've just moved up again. Maybe previous day value area high. Maybe they at the moment, I just feel like they're going to close this gap. It just feels like they want to close this gap. It's just a slow drift higher. You can't think about anything else other than closing this gap right now for me. Which is amazing. We're just going to ignore everything that happened overnight. I mean, it's actually pretty insane for a low volume drift. Shows how thin the market is when we can do 300 points either way and it not really matter. Right into a fib. It's just so ugly. Story of this market, really, isn't it? Since April, just bears are absolutely pathetic. Think about how much control they had prior to last week, and they just fluffed it. They completely fluffed it on a holiday week when there was no one present. They fluffed it, and on today where they had a gap down on low volume, they fluffed it. There's no selling. There's no selling in the market anymore. We had a week. Was it a week? Was it even a week? Couple weeks. We had a couple weeks of selling. That's it. That was it. Sweep a bit of liquidity in markets now. Okay, we're slowly grind all the way back up. Yeah, I mean, ES is the same story. It wants to go for gap fill. It wants to fill the gap into 60. And VIX, the same story. It's just breaking down. This is just a slow grind higher. You can't fight this tape. It's just a very slow grind higher. And when they're done with it, you're going to see a sell back down, probably inside the range. So tagging previous day value area high there, or near enough. So no acceptance above it yet. Once they get acceptance above it, they will probably go for gap fill and Globex. Once they get acceptance above here. It's amazing when you think this strong selling that stepped in here, it lasted 3 minutes and then it was not present again. that is times that by what we've seen since April. That's it right there. That's it. 400s now. I'd say you're over unders all the time. They're protected. Bulls are in control. Cannot believe on a new Monday and a new month we're just trading inside of the least volume we've ever seen on a Friday. We're just trading inside of that tiny amount of volume for a Friday. Absolutely pathetic. We just need to get Powell tonight and then see what we do. Okay, they're going to try and get to these 450s. There's a 300 lot up here advertising. What's the bet he pulls once we get there? Probably quite strong, I'd say. Probably just pulls his order. That's where they're trying to get up to a moment, 450s. But I'd say really 470s and 480s are the job. I cannot tell you how low this volume is that we're moving on. It's so slow. Like we're trading these tiny little lots, like 10 lots, 2 lots, 2 lots on the market. Like seriously, guys. Just squeeze it out for fuck's sake. Finish the rotation for once today. Maybe set something up for tomorrow, because if you don't finish this today, there's going to be nothing to do tomorrow either. You're a perma bull. I mean, I'm not perma bull yet. If we can set a daily high or low and we start breaking out later in the week, then yes, I think all-time highs can definitely be taken. No doubt about it. I'm not saying that on a Monday of a new month after a low volume week. I think that would be idiotic, to be quite honest, to say something like that, because we've traded for 2.5 hours with some of the lowest volume I've ever seen. So I think trying to be that biased will probably get you in trouble. And it's fine to say perma bull, but perma bull versus what? Because you're a day trader, so it really doesn't mean shit, does it? Because what actually matters is where you're buying and where you're selling. Saying things other than that, it doesn't really matter. I'm bullish to all-time highs. Well, that's great. Where are you buying it? How big's your stop? How big are your bollocks? Since 350. Yeah, on that reclaim, yeah, not bad. I think these are the targets at the moment. I can't see beyond that. But guess what? That guy pulled his order, the 300 lot that I told you about. I told you he'd pull it. It's too much spoofing on the tape today. Way, way, way too much spoofing on the tape today for me. Low volume and we're spoofing. Like, what are you doing? Why? Why bother? So slow, my gosh. Video's coming back for that to test that 180. That's definitely an options level up there. And they failed every time they've attempted it. How long till lunch? 10 minutes. What a boring session. Man, there's so much spoofing. I don't get it. Why would you put a bid out for 2 seconds? It's not like we're even close to it. You put it like 10 points below for a whole 2 seconds. It's some weird shit going on, man. We can get some nice retrace. I mean, it doesn't look like that to me. Everything's been absorbed. There's no aggressive participants at the moment. It just seems like a very slow drift and grind higher, trying to get gap fill, but they're so slow. That's all it feels like. There's nothing here to do for me. Big buyer just tried there. They just filled those guys at 450. I mean, why are you going to fill that and not come up here? It looks like that's what they're going to do. I'm going to slam back down to 30s now, are we? Jesus Christ. We're going to go in a 20-point rotation again for another 20 minutes. Are we going to do this again? So dumb. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Bulls have got to defend this level that they've made up here now. 420 to 400. That's your over under. Bulls need to defend this. The rotation completion is up here. If they don't do that, I don't see what the point in today was. If you're going to drift high, get this close to a gap fill and not do it, I don't really understand what the point in any of this is at that point. We need them to fill it so that allows us to have a better trade tomorrow, because I'm not interested in trading this shite tomorrow. They're going to come back for 420 now, are they? Come and test these 420s. Yeah, they're going to come back for 420, 425. That's what I want to do at the moment. Bidding down there. And we said Tesla, that 180 is definitely the level. They can't get through it. They front run it again. There you go. Here's that move to 425, 420 that we just talked about. And this is the decision point. Bulls need to defend this. Failing to defend this will open up a bigger wash. But this is the level that they must defend at this point. They've got to defend this. I just don't understand why you would do all this work to not fill the gap. Surely you're going to fill the gap. You've done all this work of absorbing it all day long. Surely you're going to go for gap fill. Doesn't look like the auction's finished to me at the high either. Don't think there's a buyer stuck at a higher day. There was some big buying up there, but it doesn't seem like he's stuck yet. Apple now green, Amazon green, Nvidia green, but still not through that 180. That's the level, I'd say, 180. That's the level. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just low on energy. I would have liked another trade today, really, but the tape just looks very slow. What you're saying doesn't actually make sense. You just said you're a perma bull, then you said I didn't say I'm long now. I don't short markets. I'm only longs. So what, you day trade and you're only long? It's going to make your life quite hard. Or are you swing trading and you're only long? That makes sense to me. That definitely makes sense. Yes, of course. The market's moved by a fucking grey-haired old man who has the time to sit on YouTube talking shit every day. Oh my god, what are these guys doing? We're doing it again. Oh, 2 minutes to lunch. Back testing 420s. That's what I do. 420s and 400s. Failing that, a bit bigger wash. But that's what they're doing at the moment. Just going to come back test it. Imbalance down here into the 10s. They're bidding at 25s. I expect they get sold through, to be honest. And he's just pulled his bid. I cannot actually believe the amount of spoofing for a low volume day I've seen. Normally you see spoofing with, like, you know, the big lot like we saw earlier, the 300 lot, but we're seeing spoofing with like 5 and 10 lots. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm really scared of your 5 lot. Like, what? What is going on? Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's literally it, Adam. They're just like, oh my god, we've got to do something to fill our day. Let's just put limits out and then pull them instantly. Big block here on ES, you can see that. 48 and 50s on ES, big blocks set up there. Look at this guy. Spoof, 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 move down. Video still can't get through that 180. It's definitely a level. It's definitely a level, that 180. Okay, they had a finally gap fill. Like I said, I don't think there's any reason to be up here if you're not going to go for the gap fill. What's the point in doing all that work if you're not going to fill the gap? Wouldn't make any sense to me. Into lunch now. Okay, job done. Thank God for that. Right, my hope for the day is that they at least fill this gap. Please fill the gap, all right? Because I don't want to leave an imbalance there for tomorrow, because I'd like to trade properly tomorrow. And all we're seeing today is just a slow grind back up to where we came from overnight. That's literally all we're seeing. And we know there are sellers hanging out at 500s. We know that because of the reaction there that we got last night, all right? And it's a big level. We talked about it in the newsletter. It's got all the volume from, it's like 3 days worth of volume. So Monday the 10th, Tuesday the 11th, Wednesday the 12th, and some volume from Thursday the 13th. All right. So we basically got three, let's just call it 3 and a bit days of volume are hanging out from 500 to 800. That's where the sellers are. I'm not uber bullish like some of you until we reclaim that level, because every time we've come into there, we have a 2 weeks worth of balance range where we're very, very thick up there, and everyone above 900 is still stuck. So all the bulls are still stuck over 900. So I'm not uber bullish until we get back through these levels above, back through here. All right. Every time we've come up here, we have got stuck. So that's what I'm watching. I think they're going to sell these again. I think we need a deeper pullback, probably back down to 24,900s and a hold of that. And if we hold that, that looks a bit better. So that's where my thoughts are for the week. I don't make anything of it, TJ, because I think the volume's so low. I think it's kind of inconsequential. But yeah, we haven't made higher highs on the cumulative delta all morning, really, since that 10:30 push. So I don't. Like I said, I think with such a low volume day, I think it's easy to just move stuff around. I'm more interested how we operate the rest of the week. All right, so hopefully we fill this gap. Really don't want to leave that open. That makes tomorrow a pain in the butt if we leave that open. But if we can leave that open, what I'd be looking at this week, very simple. All right, here's your 2 weeks balance range. You can see, all right, buyers are trapped up here, no doubt about it. This is the range, all right? If sellers defend this, then we're looking for that rotation down to here. If we come down here first, then we're looking for that rotation up. So there's a move here and here. There's a move here and here. If we lose this level, it's good night, sweetheart. All right, so that's what I'm thinking about this week. I think we're going to do some rotation from here to, where was it? Here. I think this is the game plan for the week. Build liquidity in here. If we hold this, it's very bullish, because we'll probably let them out. But if we look and fail down to here, it's bullish from here back up. That's what I'm looking at for the week. I'm not thinking beyond that. I'm not thinking about anything else beyond that. Volume's telling the tape. That is very, very thick, but it's not fresh, right? Because we've come into it once, twice, 3 times, third visit into it. But this is the area. How we react there probably dictates what happens for the rest of the year, to be honest, into January. Reclaim that, yeah, we're going to make new highs, no doubt about it. We reclaim that, we're making new highs. All right, that'll be that then. Let's see what we get for tomorrow. Hopefully they fill this gap, because I don't want to leave an imbalance to go into tomorrow. If they can fill this after doing all that work today, at least we've been efficient and we can see what we get tomorrow. That's it. I'm not going to touch this afternoon. I don't think there's any volume here being traded. I think one of you said it rightly. I think everyone's waiting for Powell, and that's at 8 p.m. tonight. So let's see what he says, if he spooks the market, or if he actually pivots to being dovish like the rest of his friends did last week, which is why we got that squeeze up. Let's see. All right, folks. See you tomorrow morning. Hopefully we have a better day, a few more setups, and we can go from there. All right. Peace and love.